Good morning, everyone. We spent Indian summer together last Sunday, and we're going to do fall this Sunday. How's that for fun? I'm Reverend Debbie. I'm so pleased to have every one of you in the house. Excuse me. This center is founded on the truth that there is a power for good in the universe, and you can consciously use it. And the mission of this center is to teach, demonstrate, and inspire that spiritual, positive approach to living. And I'm so glad you guys are all here and everyone's online. It feels good in the heart just to be together, doesn't it? And with that, I have the wonderful opportunity of introducing our musicians today. Victoria and James, sorry.
Good morning.
I want to say Paul. I don't know why. Here we go.
Paul. All right. We're going to do a little God is My Source, so if you know this tune, feel free to sing along. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Thank you for getting us all warmed up for a prayer. Please join me and let us just take a couple of wonderful deep breaths together and just breathe in the love in this room and the energy and what I know is true right here and right now is where each of us are sitting or standing is holy ground because we are fully present. We are aware that there is one power, one universal truth. This one, which I call God, is in divine partnership. And it is from that place that I know this service unfolds perfectly. Fellowship is delightful. And as we close our eyes this evening, we will be full of gratitude and blessings. This is the truth. I let it go already feeling the goodness. And so it is. All right. We have a group reading. I'm going to step aside. So please join me. It's also in your program. I am ready to deepen my conviction in the power and presence for good. I am ready to apply it in my daily life. I am ready to receive God's highest blessings. I am ready to live from a higher level of beingness. I am ready to be a transformative light in the world. And so it is. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask Jeff to come up. On Sundays, we acknowledge and celebrate the different paths to the one, because there are many paths, many traditions, many names. So, please join me as we support that unifying nature of spirit. We light the candle for the Tao. honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium the natural way. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of the submission to the will of God as the highest calling. Thank you, Jeff. And now I invite each of you just to take a moment and recognize that flame within, that sweet, sweet spot where we know who and whose we are. And we give thanks for the wholeness, the oneness, and spiritual principles that provide us unity. All right. And we have an inspirational reading from Joan. Practitioner Joan, come on up.
I saw the book on my way up. So Reverend Joanne will be speaking from this book today called The Power of Commitment by Douglas M. Yeaman. She just got it in the mail yesterday, so she's very excited about it. And I will be doing a reading from said book this morning. Every result in your life is the evidence of a kept commitment. Commitments are demonstrated in our behavior and are initially most evident in our language, especially in the language that we use automatically without conscious forethought. Language is actually the first behavioral unit of expressed commitment. Because of this, our words often foretell the so-called accidents in our lives long before they, quote, happen to us. The manner in which unconscious assumptions become embodied in our vocabulary and foretell our future events was demonstrated by a participant in the Quantum Leap, a carefully planned outdoor weekend training in which my organization takes a group of about 100 persons. In teams of 7, participants climb up to a 130-foot sheer rock face, then rappel to the ground. Their rock climbing experience also includes a 20 to 60-foot free fall. The deeper purpose of this training is to assist each participant in making a quantum leap in the accomplishment of his or her personal and career aspirations as well. Get both knees replaced in 1 year and do PT, and you will feel the same thing, just so you all know. Of the thousands of persons who have participated in the quantum leap, only 2 have been injured. First, a mother, and then her daughter, on successive days, hurt their left ankles. During a post-quantum leap debriefing session, a friend of the mother suggested that the accident's cause was obvious. For weeks, you've been saying time and time again, I just can't stand my life. Well, when you put yourself to the real test, your ankle took you literally. A similar situation developed with my own mother. Shortly after my father died, she went blind in one eye as a result of a detached retina. She had often said before his death, I can't see how I will live without him. We are as good as our word whenever our language truly represents the way we think and feel. Our vocabulary reflects the assumptive matrix that shapes our behavior and calls forth experiences that conform to our assumptions. Our words work this way even when we are unaware of what we are saying. Unconscious use of words does not change the consequence of the underlying assumptions that evoke them. It merely allows us to produce their consequences unknowingly, generating mishaps, mistakes, and other failures that look to us like accidents, when in reality they are totally our own creation.
One, two, three, four.
I will meet you with my heart, heart to heart. Let us meet again, and then may we become more of who we are, more of who we are. I will touch you with my soul, soul to soul. Let us touch again, and then may we behold more of who we are, more of who we are. I will silently, breath to breath, let us breathe as one, and then may we become more of who we are, more of who we are. Let's do that again. And well, you can all sing along. If you know this, I know some of you recognize this one. All right. I will meet you with my heart, heart to heart. Let us meet again, and then may we become more of who we are, more of who we are. I will touch you. I will touch you with my soul, soul to soul. Let us touch again, and then may we behold more of who we are, more of who we are. I will meet you. I will meet you silently, breath to breath. Let us meet as one, and then may we become more of who we are, more of who we are, more of who we are, more of who we are.
Bravo. Okay, it's time for the main act. Reverend Joanne.
Thank you. Thank you for the music. Thank you for being here. And as Joan talked about, we're talking about the power of commitment this month. And Debbie talked about it a little bit last week. And one of the things that she talked about were these quotes by people like William Hutchinson Murray. He's a Scottish mountaineer, and of all people, but he has this just a beautiful, strong, inspirational quote about commitment. And I want to read the whole thing to you. It's just a paragraph. But until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there's one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. Here's that elementary truth of which the ignorance kills. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. That's just so beautiful. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. A whole stream of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issue from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man could have dreamed would come his way. And oftentimes this quote is coupled with a quote by Johann Wolfgang Goethe. And he says, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius and power and magic in it. Oh, again, I think I could dismiss all of you. If this sunk in, you're going to have a great day. It's just wonderful, some of the words that these people come up with and say it so beautifully and so powerfully. So as we become committed, we experience firsthand this power that's moving in the unseen. As he said, unforeseen things will happen. Stuff will go on. Doors will open for our greater good, guiding us what is for us to do. But the point is to really become committed to something and then take it in prayer, and stuff happens. So first, we need to take a look at our attitude toward making a commitment. And sometimes there's that bugaboo called fear. We're kind of afraid to make a commitment because, well, what if I tell somebody about it and then I fail? What if I make this commitment and I fail and I'm hard on myself? So fear is a big deal. And so oftentimes we talk about the fact that certain things in our lives we don't want to deal with. So what do? We sweep them under that rug. Don't want to deal with that, sweep it under the rug. Just don't think about it. Maybe it'll go away. It doesn't go away. So we might as well deal with it. So it's important to acknowledge it, look at it, and determine what can it teach me. I know even in dreams, sometimes if you have a monster chasing you, if you can learn to turn around, look at that monster and say, just what is it you want from me? Somehow the fear changes. So if you have, for instance, an unhealthy relationship in your life, somebody in your life you just cannot get along with, and it's causing some real problems. Instead of just sweeping that under the rug, how about take a look at it? Look that monster in the eye. Make a commitment to make a change in that relationship. Or how about just our way of life? Perhaps we've not been paying close enough attention to exercise or eating the right kind of foods. Let's not sweep that under the rug. I'm going to be talking more about that today because who's guilty here? So I figure if I can use this group to help me, we can help each other. So that's something we're going to be talking about. So what have you swept under the rug? We've all done it, and it's something to take a look at and perhaps think about making a commitment to make a change. So first of all, we have to take a look at it and see if there's some fear there. And second, get in touch with who you really are. And who does Ernest Holmes say we really are? He says, the highest and the innermost God are one God. He's reminding us that very power. I say this every time I get up here. That very power that created everything and everyone is the same power that experiences life in, through, and as its creation. We tell the prisoners that. There's a light within you. It might be covered up for a while, but it never goes away. We can unpeel those layers and let that light shine. So that's who we are. We are vehicles for that power that created everything to experience life in, as, and through us. So it's up to us to walk the walk, talk the talk, and live up to our commitments. And I think this is kind of what they were saying in this book this morning. Every result of your life is the evidence of your commitment. You can't really fool people about what you're committed to because of what's showing up in your life. Every result of your life is evidence of your commitment. Let's say you know somebody whose house is just spotless. I know people like this. They're terrible. You can go into their house anytime, nobody's planned it ahead. And, there's not a water spot on the spigot in the kitchen. It is. So they've made a commitment to keeping their house. That's important to them, to have that house look shiny clean. How about, again, go back to the health of the body. You see people who are in good shape, and you think, boy, that must be nice. Well, it's nice because they've made a commitment to exercising and to eating right. And some people, that they've done it. That is a commitment. And then there's others of us that, for me, my weight has gone like this over the years. I don't know how many pounds I've ever lost. Lots. And so this is something it's important to get a hold of, because our bodies, this is what we're given to move around in. And if we're not healthy, I think it puts us at a disadvantage to life in general. And how about healthy relationships? You know, some people just live with unhealthy relationships. Well, I don't talk to that sister because, you know, that my mother-in-law and I haven't spoken for 5 years, or I go over there, but I stay out, or blah, blah, blah. You know, we have these relationships, and maybe it's not important, and it's not important for you to make a commitment in that regard, but for a lot of us, especially with our relatives and people who are close to us, people that we work with, it's important to have a good relationship, and we can work on that by making a commitment. So a commitment isn't what we say we're committed to being or doing. It's not what we want to be committed to saying or doing. It's not what we think we should be committed to saying or doing. It is what we actually in real life are committed to, and it shows up. Our life is a dead giveaway, people know. And one of the ways we give it away is by our language, is what Joan was reading about this morning. We are committed, what you're committed to also shows up in what you say, the language you use, the words you speak. What comes out of your mouth is an indication of what you're committed to. So, very important. In this book, written by Douglas Yeaman and Noel McInnes, this might be a little repeat of what Joan read this morning. Commitments are initially most evident in your language, especially the language we use automatically without conscious forethought. All words have literal interpretation. Unconscious use of language tends to perpetuate unwanted experiences. If you consistently experience failure in any area, relationships, finance, jobs, listen closely to all the words that you use with reference to that aspect of your life. You will see how you participate in the creation of situations that do not work for you, and you will have the power to choose differently. We have the power to choose our words. So I have had this friend years ago, we worked with her at Kennard, and she would always say things like, "I'm such a klutz." I mean, what an affirmation to make. This is a grown woman, what a klutz. And man, was she a klutz. I mean, you know, she was always running into things, spilling things, because she was affirming, I am a klutz. And I mean, this is before I was brave enough to say, listen, Carol, let me tell you about what you're doing here. Remember Carol? She was always putting herself down. And we don't have to do that. It has an impact. And there are people who will say things like, I'm always broke. You know, why affirm that? I have a cold, I'll never get over it. The stuff comes out of our mouth sometimes. You just have to think, what am I thinking? And, you know, we do it unconsciously, but something within us hears it and believes it. So we have to be very about our words. So I'm going to share two things with you. One, a commitment that, you know, I think I've been making. I'm talking about the weight. And then I'm going to share another commitment to you and just show you how, when you're truly committed, how things can work. And when you're not really committed, how you keep, it's like walking on a treadmill. You don't get very far. So in the past, I've had that tendency with my weight. I gain it, I lose it, I gain it, I lose it. Typically, I'm pretty principled with my exercise. Very rarely do I go long periods of time without being on kind of a regimented exercise program. Because when I don't do it, I can notice it right away in my thinking. I'm a little grouchier. I'm a little testier. I don't have the energy. You know, I don't have the energy, so I don't exercise. I don't exercise, so I don't have energy. It all kind of is snowballs. So this time, I'd gone on vacation to see my sister in Arizona in March. And of course, for the week before I went there, I couldn't exercise or diet because really, all the stuff I had to do, who has time? So you're on vacation. Well, we didn't really watch what we ate or drank there. We just had a good time. Then we come back. Well, I had so much to do because I missed a week. So I was couldn't possibly do my physical therapy or exercise or, and then, you might as well just grab the bowl of Cheerios when you can. And yeah, just kind of got the best of me. And frankly, I never got back on the wagon again. I fell off that wagon in March. And I've been not exercising regularly and not very attentive to what I'm eating ever since I fell off the wagon. And to that end, I'm going to invite everybody in our center to join me in some way. And this is a work in progress. I haven't figured it out yet, but I did. There was a conference last weekend, I think it was, and we were on the phone on Friday night and all day Saturday, and part of it was speakers, and part of it you break into these workshops, and the workshops then you're on with 4 to 6 people, and then you kind of get to know people. Well, this one gal was from San Diego, and she was talking about a program she set up in her church to help people support themselves in good health. And so I asked her for her email, and then we talked on the phone a couple days later. And so I ordered her book. I got that in the mail, and she also has workbooks that she sent, PDF files and stuff like that. I haven't really delved into it all, but I'm thinking about this. So I'm going to say this out loud right here to you guys, making a commitment, and I think it can be beneficial for so many people. And I don't know exactly how we'll do it, and so I'm open to ideas, suggestions, but I think one of the things is to be accountable to somebody. I'm accountable to nobody. Since Gary died, I can sneak stuff out of the kitchen openly, And he was pretty good at, he made nice big meals, and they weren't always the most healthy things, but it wasn't snacking. Like, I just couldn't walk out in the middle of the afternoon and eat my Cheerios. I mean, that wouldn't have been acceptable, because he was always afraid I was going to ruin my appetite, which I never did, but he was always concerned. But accountability is so important, and so somehow I would like to do accountability. I'm thinking we could do at least some of this on Zoom. If we do it on Zoom and part of it is our weight, we'd have to be accountable to ourselves to say I got on the scale and I'm up, down, whatever. So anyway, just saying, this is something I would like to do, and it just, to me, it's an area of our lives that does require a lot of commitment. So what are the code words for I'm not willing to do what it takes to get this done? Do you ever hear yourself saying things like, well, I'm just too tired. I'm just too tired to exercise. And one that I like to use is, why don't I wait till the first of the year? Or I'll start when I get back from my vacation. Hey, I'm sure some of this sounds familiar to you guys, because I think we all do it. So in Richer Living, the book Ernest Holmes wrote, the law of mind gives back our words in form. And this is not always a pleasant experience, because some of the stuff we say is just not very helpful. Students of science of mind should make an honest attempt to control their speech, watch their words, and always say that which is loving and wise, and it's not always easy to do, but what an important part of our lives, because, let's face it, we all say things, and sure when you're around a little kid, you're going to learn it more and more. You watch what you say because it's coming back. So I told you what I have difficulties with, which was the weight thing. So the area that I feel like I was successful in is, years ago, I got this niggle inside that I should be working with prisoners or prisons, and I didn't know anybody in prison, didn't know anything about it, nothing. I had just a little niggle in there, and so I started asking people about if they knew anything about it, or, well, the first person said to me, well, what you should do is you should go over to St. Paul. There's a place called Friends for, what is it? Friends for a Nonviolent World or something like that. And then they have an arm called, for nonviolence. It's a program for nonviolence. And so they said, you go over there. They're Quakers. And I thought, Quakers? I'd never met a Quaker. I knew a Quaker. That was Richard Nixon was a Quaker. But he was the only Quaker I knew about. But I thought, I don't know Quakers. I just felt like that can't be something good for me to do. So I just discarded that idea. So then within the next couple weeks, a couple other people said, oh, you ought to go to St. Paul and Friends for a Nonviolent World. That's the place to go. They do this, that, and this, and that. So then I go to this meeting. It was at a Unity Church in South Minneapolis and Bloomington, and it was really kind of fun. They'd bring in speakers, and it was all real positive thinking people there, and we'd do discussion, and we'd have a speaker. It was great. And so this was about 3 weeks after my first niggle started, and I had 3 people telling me to go over to St. Paul. Guess who the speaker was? The guy from St. Paul at Friends for a Nonviolent World. And he gave a little pitch on what they do and why it works, and he didn't say anything about wearing a black hat. I don't know if that's what Quakers did or not, but I was thinking of, well, the Quaker Oats guy, didn't he wear a hat or something like that? So he was very enthusiastic, and I was so impressed with his message that I signed on the dotted line and went to the training and started going to this Alternatives to Violence program. So that was good. I really liked it. Yet I thought to myself, if I could get in there with this science of mind philosophy, I think it would be a lot more impactful. I mean, this Alternative to Violence program was a lot of work. We'd go there at 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and you're there till about 8 o'clock on Friday night. Then go all day Saturday from like 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. And then Sunday, you go back until 6 o'clock. And I was just exhausted. It was, and it was kind of one of those experiential things where you kind of figured it out as you went along. So it was a lot of work. And I just thought, I think if I could just go in with the science of mind philosophy, it wouldn't feel like it was that much work in it. To me, I thought it would be more effective because we weren't really allowed to say too much about spirituality. We could say the stuff about the light within. And that, to me, went a long way. And I would repeat that whenever I could because I thought if they could get anything out of this, they could know that. That would be a start for them. So anyway, I at one point I thought I can't do. As a matter of fact, I got a shock from my defibrillator one time when I was there. I was mad at, I call him Twinkle Toes. He was when we were trying to figure out what our next session was going to be like, or we'd be sitting around a table, brainstorming, trying to figure out who's going to do what and what are we going to use, and do we need some things out of our files and whatever. And we get this guy, and he was counting his steps. This was before anybody was counting steps, and I don't think he had a Fitbit. I think he was just counting. And so instead of sitting at the table, what was he doing? He's pacing around, he's making me crazy. And then he says to me, would you mind taking me to the dance that I go to after this is over? I'm just about dead on my feet anyway. And I'm like, I think, how do you say no? I didn't know how to say no. But we get outside, and there's like this much snow out there that we weren't in a windowed room. We didn't see that. It was that much snow. So we're out there, and we had all driven over with one of the women. We had parked our cars at her house, and she had driven this van over. So we're out there, with the brushes getting the snow, and all of a sudden, zap, and I'm on my butt. My defibrillator just knocked me, and I thought, well, I didn't have to take him then. He let me off the hook. So but that's a lot of hard work. So anyway, I quit doing that for a while. And then I kept trying to think of how to get in there. So I'd call people at the prisons trying to say, well, I know you've got people that come in and talk to the prisoners. And, I've got this science of mind, this kind of a new thought, a little bit different view on spirituality. I think it would be really, slammed door. Got nowhere. And it was kind of discouraging. So then a friend of mine had a friend whose son was in Oak Park Heights. And she said, why don't you go visit him? I think it would be good for him to talk to you. Just talk to him as a minister, and he was quite spiritual. And so I went and talked to him, and we were having this great spiritual discussion. And he said, you ought to talk to our chaplain. She's really nice. I'm like, a nice chaplain? I had not met one. And so I was intrigued. And so I ended up giving her a call, and she was nice. She was wonderful. And she was the chaplain at Oak Park Heights. And so she got us in there. And so we started doing a small group at Oak Park Heights. And then she got transferred to Lino Lakes. And Lino Lakes is a little bit more conducive for stuff like this. They have a lot of teaching stuff and classes that these go through. And a lot of times, Lino Lakes is their last stop before they get out on parole or probation or whatever. And so it was just a godsend to get to know her. And she opened the door to Lino. So then we were in Oak Park Heights, we were in Lino, and she happened to be a good friend of the chaplain at Stillwater, who was a great guy too. So then we got into Stillwater. So that is how that worked. And one of the things what we did before we got, for instance, into Lino, we did a workshop. Anybody could come to this workshop, and the workshop said, here's kind of what we're going to offer in our circles if you'd like to do this. So it was a lot, it took some, but I was committed to it. I was kind of on fire to do it. It was, there was no doubt about this was a real calling for me. So we did that and began the spiritual circles, and providence moves when you get fully committed, no doubt about it. So this morning I would just encourage you to think about what you're committed to and think about the language you use around various things in your life, because sometimes we're unconsciously saying some things that are probably pretty potent. For instance, if one of the things you want to do is make a commitment to prosperity, you might want to think, well, what are the things that I need to be thinking about to get me to prosperity, and what are the words that I'm speaking around prosperity, and maybe what can I change? Same thing having to do with a relationship. If you're in a relationship that's not working, think about, what steps could I take to improve this relationship, and what words can I use instead of calling people names like Twinkle Toes. what things could we change in various areas, and with our health too. What words are we saying, and what are we willing to do to get committed? So this is a good time and a good opportunity for an honest look at where you are committed and what you might be willing to do. And one of the concepts that can be really good for getting us committed and staying committed, can make a big difference, is gratitude. And so that's one of the things we're going to be focusing on too. There's a guy by the name of Meister Eckhart. Many of you have heard of him. He's a theologian, philosopher, mystic. He was born in 1260, so a long time ago. But he said, if the only prayer you ever say in your life is thank you, that would suffice. Pretty powerful words. Now, I was going to have a sidebar with you, Debbie, but this is the sidebar. Do you want to say a few words about?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Our sister community in Carlsbad every year does a gratitude journal, and it's 40 days. And what this journal does is it provides some quotes, and the request is every day to put down 10 things you're grateful for. 10. And yes, you can repeat if you have to. But there's little quotes throughout it, and they had some of these left from last year, and they sent them to us. So if you're ready to make a commitment to gratitude, it's about 40 days from Thanksgiving right now. Isn't that scary to think? But it's true. It's about 40 days. So if you'd like a journal, please come up to the prayer table and take one. But it's a commitment, right? 40 days, that's 400. 400 gratitudes. And I'm sure we can all tick them off right now, but break it into 10 a day. And then come back and let Reverend Joanne and I know how you liked them, because if you like them, we'll have our own next year.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you, Debbie. So that's going to suffice as your homework, okay? To go ahead and get started on that, make a commitment to do this gratitude journal. And people that do gratitude journals, I think, that's just gets a step up in the right direction. So please do that. I got a text from Mary McNeil. You guys know her. She comes here often. She, every once in a while, she'll send me a text, and it goes like this: grateful for Hattie, apartment, music, rugby, and then she goes, you. And so I texted her back, thank you, or something, and then she texted me back something that she had found on the internet that she thought I'd be interested in seeing. Well, my internet somehow went away for a couple days, and I don't like to get myself all riled up, so I thought I'd sweep it under the rug for a little bit. And so I said to her, well, I don't have the internet right now, so I'm not going to be able to see that. And she jumps on it. She says, I'll fix it for you. I'll come over. So, of course, she comes over, and she gets no problem. She fixes it. But talk about things that happen. Just what a wonderful, she sends me her gratitude list. Then I tell her my internet, there she is. It's just, and then she was going to print something at my house, but we never quite got to that because my computer is so slow. But anyway, in the thing called You, Dr. Holmes says, he reminds us of the importance of our language around our commitments and stuff. He says, let nothing come forth from your lips that you would not want manifest in your life. So important to keep keep our thoughts and our words positive and constructive. So at this point, I would like to encourage you to take a deep breath and relax, and I will do a spiritual mind treatment. Remember, I'm going to do this in first person. It sounds like it's for me. It is for you as well. So I know there is but one power in the universe. That power is a power of all good. That power is the perfect solution to any perceived dilemma in life. And I know that very power that created everything and everyone is the power that experiences life in, through, and as its creation, in, through, and as me. And that's why my words are powerful. That's why all of our prayers are powerful, because that light within us is our higher power. I speak my words of blessing on this morning's service, focused on commitment. I resonate with the idea that our words are so powerful, so I make a commitment to keep my words positive and constructive. And I remember that the moment that I become fully committed, providence moves to what a powerful partner working on my behalf. So in gratitude that I'm assured that it is done unto me as I believe, in gratitude for our journals that we've been gifted, I just speak my word of thanksgiving and release these words now to that beneficent conspiracy for perfect manifestation. So it is.
Today is the day I will change my luck. I will find 3 pennies and they'll be heads up. I will walk like a queen in my tennies and jeans, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun, from the magical one, I am part of this thing called life. Yeah, from the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am part of this thing called life. Today is the day I'll remember to see only good, only God happening through me. And it will be, don't forget, all the treasures due me, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun, from the magical one, I am part of this thing called life. Yeah, from the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am one with this thing called life. Today is the day I'll be more of myself, love my skin, where I've been, and everyone else. No more gout, no more pull, simply flow as I go, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun, from the magical one, I am part of this thing called life. Yeah, from the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. From the stars and the sun, from the magical one, I am part of this thing called life. Yeah, from the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am one with this thing called life. I am loved by this thing called life.
Oh, that was so fun. Nothing like a good laugh, huh? Okay, now is our time for conscious giving. And this is something that I'm really committed to. and I know a lot of us in this room are committed to it. It's about rewarding with our finances those places where we are spiritually fed. And I know this is one of those places for me. So I am going to pass the baskets.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We give thanks for the gifts and we give thanks for the givers. So thank you all very much. And we have a gift for you, and that is the gift of prayer. And so on our prayer table, which is where the gratitude journals are, we also have the ability for you to fill out a prayer request form, and this staff will pray, spiritual mind treatment pray, for you this week. And if you'd like to see one of our practitioners in person, they're available here after the service. And today we have Dennis, we have Joan, we have Colleen, we have Jeff, we have Celeste, we've got Dee Ray, we've got Reverend Sherry, Reverend Joanne, and myself. So, man, we could really pray it up in here. Whew. Whew. Announcements. So, gratitude journals, we've already talked about. Next Sunday, weather permitting, and it should, right? It's not going to be snowing next weekend, is it? You know? Weather permitting next weekend, next Sunday, after a brief fellowship, we are going to go to for a labyrinth walk. And if you've never done one, whatever you do. Anyway, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to together go over. We are going to pray a little bit, and then we're going to be quiet. We're going to walk this labyrinth walk. We're going to make Nelson behave. And then we're going to have some hot cider and sort of just be quiet.
Where do we get the hot cider?
It's just going to magically appear. That's right.
I'm wondering if there's a building open there.
There is. So where this labyrinth is the Plymouth Community Center. And when you drive to the Plymouth Community Center, you're going to drive to the very far side of the parking lot. And that is where there is a millennial garden. And the labyrinth is right behind the Great Lawn. And there's a special drive that you're going to take if Dee's coming with you. And then there's walking trails, there's a beautiful fountain, there's places to sit and enjoy nature, and you can also go into the building if you're chilly, and it'll keep you warm. That's pretty much it for that building, right? I pretty much got it? Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're going to do next Sunday after the service. And I'm really looking forward to being quiet with you guys out in nature. It's going to be really good. So I hope you all can make it. And if you have friends that would like to join us, please invite them. They can meet us there. We've got flyers with a picture of it here on the back table. So make sure you grab one. And yes, it's going to be fabulous. Quick update. Practitioner Sue, who is also here and available for prayer. She and I are doing the Abundance Consciousness class. It's going really well. We're talking about all of the prosperity that has already started to come our way. And we're including the center into it. So here we go. Goodness for all. And with that, I think we're done with announcements, yes? Yes, we're done with announcements. So I'm going to do a quick prayer out. Joanne's going to bless us out. And then after song, and I've heard a preview of the song, so yay, we're going to have some coffee and some cookies. And so with that, let us just breathe in one more time and just allow the joy and the love and the laughter and the music, as we just remember our truth, that there is only one, and it is in divine partnership with us. It is the light within. We are so much powerful than we think we are. And here's to allowing that power to come out and play in terms of commitment. I release these words knowing that God is doing all of the heavy lifting, knowing that each of us is willing to provide the time and space and attention to allow that heavy lifting to happen as we just celebrate this wonderful, glorious thing called life. And so it is.
And I'll leave you with this blessing. May you be at peace. May you know the beauty of your own true nature. May your heart be open. May you be healed. May you be blessed. Namaste.
All right. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do I, 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 do I? Oh, it don't mean a thing. All you gotta do is sing. Do I, 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 do I? It makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. So give that rhythm everything, everything you got. Oh, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do I, 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 do I? It makes no difference if it's sweet or hard, but give that rhythm everything, everything you got. Oh, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do I, 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 do I? Oh, do I, do I, do I, do I, do I, do I?